Now we're going to continue on talking about nasal deformities in the pediatric patients. So I have nothing to disclose. So we can split up nasal deformities into either congenital or iatrogenic or acquired deformities. And I'm really only going to talk about congenital deformities today. I'm not really going to talk about acquired. So some of the more common things are like nasal dermoids, neurogenic nasal masses, piriform atherosclerosis, planotrasia, cleft lip nasal deformities, and many rhinitis. Iatrogenically, things like in DNA that have requirements for CPAP or the nasal cannula, sometimes the nasal cannula is too tight and it actually starts eroding away the columella, or they have problems with the CPAP, nasal CPAP causes pressure effect on the face. The other one is the nasal innovation. If they push up on the soft tissue time, we worry about that as a nasal pressure. Sometimes we think of septal deviation newborns, or that you can compare that around controversial nasal tract nasal dermoids. Unfortunately, I do a lot of these because where we are, I seem to have a referral pattern for these. It's congenital, very rare, typically, but it's about 1 to 3% of all dermoids that are present and about 10% of dermoids in the area. The etiology is typically just a failure of closure of that anterior port and pregnancy. Sometimes you get present presentation of little kids that have these significant infection along the dorsum. Sometimes they're ruptured of the tube as a young girl, but that basically was nasal pivot there and that infection across the dorsum and that's kind of long as material. This is a different individual after we did our Google, which shows kind of exemplify how nice a scar down the middle of the nose actually would be if you go for an external approach. About 5 to 45%, depending on what study you look at, the nasal dermoids do extend up intracranially, and there's no really known syndrome association with nasal dermoids. They present typically as a little nasal pit, and then with some hair sometimes coming through that, or sometimes they just have an infected cyst on the nose. But if they have drainage that's coming out, if they have a mass, we then recommend surgery. I usually wait to about 9 to 12 months of age before I do surgery on these individuals so that they're bigger, they have more blood supply, and then you have to get into the bones are up against the dura, it can lose a bit. So it's usually like a little bit bigger, and as long as they're not getting currently infected up to that point, I do wait a bit of time. I get a preoperative CT scan and MRI to really look at the extent of the lesion and also the skull base itself. If it's a very simple cyst right on the dorsum, it can be excised very easily without doing a significant exposure. If it's really extensive, I've had one where the tip's just at the tip of the nose and it goes all the way up to really, instead of making a decision all the way up the dorsum, I just take out the pit at the tip and then do an external rhinoplasty approach and then get out the lip. Sometimes you may require, on a rare occasion, a bicoronal incision and do a low front craniotomy. But I've been able to get away with not doing that for at least the past 18 years. So these are different examples of nasal dermoids that I've come across. Really just that anterior dura port remains open and get connection. Sometimes just right up against the dura. My neurosurgeons like working with this because they haven't had to do an open craniotomy for a nasal dermoid quite a lot. And we published our approach to this a few years ago regarding going through the cranial approach across the dorsum. Basically, what we end up doing is just after you get to the pit and you follow it up to the nasal bone, we green strip to fracture the nasal bones apart and then drill along the tract until we get up to the extent of the lesion. We get all the way up into the crista gallia, and then we bring a microscope in and against the dura and we peel the dermoid off the dura. If you disrupt the dura and you get a CSF leak, you can put a little dura patch in there, put a little bone paté, and then you can seal very nicely. So as I said, we use the microscope, sometimes you can put an endoscope in it, it's a big enough hole. This is that young lady, she had, after you're done, she had this big hole here, but we can close that very nicely along the midline, and she had been healing very nicely. This is another young lady who had a pit here on the dorsum of her nose. We took this out, and this is her about 6 months later, with a nice healed lesion there. Neurogenic nasal masses include encephaloceles, meningoceles, and nasal gliomas. These are all kind of along the spectrum of this same disorder. Encephaloceles indicate just basic extracranial herniations of the meninges, connection to the CSF space. Meningoceles just contain brain tissue. Probably about 0.2 per thousand, or most of them are occipital. The ones we typically take care of are the ones that are basal, that are inside the nose, or just occipital around the nose. But often we just translucent it and just get really bright, really indicating exactly what it is. We don't ever want to biopsy these. They typically are very pulsatile. They enlarge through the valsalva time. We can do a first pressure on both eye bases, and then it scrolls up to the increased ICD. We use an MRI to evaluate, and we see how extensive they can be. And then, instead, the intranasal lesions where we usually see them would be more likely on the septum. Lesions usually require both a combination of otolaryngology, neurosurgery, sometimes even craniofacial doctors with proposed defects if they're particularly large, depending where they are. Many times when we do the endonasal or the endoscopic, we can deal with mucosal off and it's just coming down inside the nose. We can bipolar that encephalocele and it'll track up, and then we can just put a little bone graft to help support where that pushing down. These gliomas are on that spectrum, but these are not attached to the CSF space. So there may be some heterotrophic tissue there, but these are usually located in the lateral nasal wall. If you see an intranasal mouse in the lateral nasal wall, it's more going to be a glioma. These just should be excised completely in order to treatment. This is an example of an individual had a nasal glioma, and you can see on the MRI, it's just kind of right here, and on the MCT, it's over on the side. And when we did the incision, we could literally on that lateral nasal wall, and we could excise it nicely, and it's not occurring. Other nasal masses, this is a little unusual. This is actually one that comes from something that came from the back of the teratoma. So you have to see it kind of pushing out from both nostrils. And this infant was actually born by exit procedure because the intrauterine ultrasound revealed this massive mass that was obstructing the airway. You see the cystic little area here in the pharynx. Teratomas in general, they're very rare. They typically compose of all three sperm layers. They do have potential for malignancy, so we want to resect them. In this individual, I said they had to be born by exit. Chaos situation, and then resected off the skull base, which is actually the appendix, and then we're currently monitoring her with protein inhibitors, HCV, to make sure that she doesn't have the presence of this lesion. Piriform aperture stenosis is another nasal obstructive lesion. It's also pretty rare, and what we do is get the floating overgrowth of the nasal processes in the maxilla, and we can actually see that right here. By definition, if the space here is less than 11 millimeters, that would be considered an issue of piriform aperture stenosis. Usually these individuals are very difficult to examine in the nasal cavity because it's just tight right at the very opening. You usually can't pass it with a little catheter or even a otoscope to see into the nose. CT scans are used for diagnosis. You can have that narrow piriform aperture width. Also, you may see a central mega incisor. They're usually a triangular shape with a palate on coronal CT. And then you see it's called, once again, bony overgrowth of the nasal processes of the maxilla. Also, they may be associated with holoprosencephaly, spectrum, which is just this multitude of midline abnormalities. Management based upon symptoms. If they're able to breathe and they're able to ventilate and they're doing okay, sometimes we can start to put them on some nasal steroid spray. Saline helps keep to breathe the nose, and topical decongestants with epinephrine to temporize them. Many times if you get them growing, sometimes if they just need a little bit increase in the nasal size, it's enough to get them by. So you want to try at least 2 weeks of medical therapy and see how they're doing. If they're still having a lot of problems, if they're having really significant struggling issues, if they have to be intubated, then we would consider surgical intervention. The surgery is typically all done sublabial. We just go in and we elevate up to the nasal sill and then here from an aperture. We usually take a small knife in the middle, drill it, and just drill the nasal processes down. We want to make sure we don't get to damage the lacrimal system in this process. Once we have it open, then we will actually put nasal stents in the front. The length of stenting has been debated. There's some people that say it should be longer than 10 to 14 days, and there's other people that say that they take a stent for 2 weeks. So there is debates on length of stenting. One thing we need to make sure of is that if you do stent, much like you stent with you don't want to get too large, because otherwise there's too much pressure on the septum, and you can actually develop a septal perforation. There are some people that actually try using balloons, just put it in the plate and sort of relying upon that sort of softness of the neonatal bone to be able to just push it out just enough to get them with enough space that they can actually ventilate and then grow. Because it doesn't take much of a difference in the size of that opening for them to be able to thrive. So now going on to the other side of the nose, the phalangotrichia. That's a lack of development of the posterior aspect of the cavity and development in rheology and development in the abdominal first. Usually about 50% of them are associated with other genital anomalies, such as charge. And if you have anyone with a bilateral phalangotrichia, you really want to rule out other potential anomalies before you take it to the OR to repair that. So usually what we do is we'll temporize them by intubating, make sure there's no other anomalies, especially cardiac, and before we go in to take the OR to repair them. Trichias may typically complete bony, but those are a small percentage that can be membranous. Unilateral trichia is much more common than bilateral, and there's confidence. The unilateral trichia can go undiagnosed for quite a while. So typically, it just has chronic unilateral rhinorrhea, which isn't always purulent, so parents don't always think much of it. But then they may have a history that the neonates or the delivery couldn't pass a thin suction through one side of the nose. So if any inability to pass a 5 or 6 French suction through the nostril, then the neonate really should raise the thought that there may be a potential trichia or stenosis. Bilateral phalangotrichia does present very dramatically, as the neonates, as we know, are opposite nasal breathers. So they're respiratory distress, they have cyanosis, they have lack of air exchange. They typically, as they cry, they do better. When you put an oral airway in, they do better. And then these individuals typically do require intubation prior to management. For repair, there's many different ways of doing it. There's for trident dilation, we do the sound. And now what we've done more recently is we're all doing most of these with endoscopic resection. So you can actually get a 2.7 or 3 millimeter scope in the nose of an infant, unless they're really syndromic, pretty easily, and then actually go back and drill out that bony treaded plate and then get it out laterally enough to take it down the posterior aspect, and then you can come back and take it back to the vomer a little bit, so you create kind of a three-dimensional defect back there. And when we do that, we usually don't have to stent it. When we used to just make 2 openings, we have to stent a lot of times to increase the nose, and we can come back with a balloon or some itomycin to make sure that they stay open. But with creating that backbiting of the vomer, very often it just stays open because of that 3-dimensional opening in the scar that creates back there, leaves that space open. You can always do a transpalatal drill out, which is the old school, and still stand by for getting the phalangotrichia open. And the stents is still considered. And so we don't really do that anymore due to the risk of obstruction, and we noted that we don't really need to because of the creation of this unique defect in the back of the nose. If you do place bilateral nasal stents, once again, just like in the piriform aperture stenosis, we want to make sure that these stents aren't too tight and applying too much pressure on the nasal septum and creating septal perforation. We published actually a use of cut oral ray tubes, which have a little extra bend on the very end of it, so that when we put it in the nose, it comes down, it doesn't apply pressure to the soft tissue triangle. And so that sometimes it's beneficial to just suture that to the septum. The issue a lot of times with these stents is that they're obviously foreign bodies and they can actually occlude very easily. And if they occlude, then you have the same problem as if they were having your cranial treatment before repair. Diagnosis, typically we just confirm these just by putting a flexible scope in the nose at the bedside in the NICU. CT scan helps with confirming, but also looking at the bony anatomy in the back of the nose to give us an idea of how much we may or may not have to drill, and whether or not we may be able to just puncture through and dilate up with a ureter sound. As I said before, we really make sure that you've gone through any potential anomalies that may be related to chondrochlegia before you take it to the operating room. Cleft lip nasal deformities is very common with the nose just because of the way the cleft has developed. You have the shortened columella, the asymmetric nasal tip, the displaying of the two aspects of the palate causes the disruption and the deflection of the nose. You have the missing nasal floor and flat nail. So it's a very classic deformity that we see with cleft lip. The initial lip repair does set sort of the stage for the repair and the reconstruction of the nose. So at the time of the lip repair, we'll do a nasal correction to help with the appearance and also the long-term appearance of the nose. Sometimes before we do the lip adhesion, we'll do some taping or some molding, or we'll try to get a little external molding piece. So here's this is taped to the head, but actually pulls up on that ala a little bit as they get ready to close the lip. So the key is to really advance that cleft side, the nasal tip over and over corrected, and then you transfix to help stabilize it, and then you tie down sutures to adjust the nasal heights. It's just an example. Preoperatively, you have a big sort of flat ala, and then you repair it to get sort of a better appearance there. But you want to do that at the same time as you're doing the lip repair. And this is long-term wise, which this control looks like. And then secondarily, after you've gotten them to about 14, 17 years of age, if the patients grow more, the nose is developed and be almost adult-like, then you can start doing the fine reconstruction of the nose and the more cosmetic aspects of it, trying to get good tip symmetry, projection, and then overall projection, especially if you're bilateral cleft lips. This is the same individual years later. Her lip still needs a little bit of a revision. So at the time of the revision, we worked on our plastics guys worked on the base of the nose. So this is where they revised the lip, and then now she's got a little bit better structure to the nose here, and the lip is actually much better. Late correction of things that we do to the individual cleft noses, we can't forget the rest of the face. Very often there are going to be something with the maxilla, the alveolar ridge, so they may need some bone grafts, they need some dorsal onlays. So you really want to make sure you assess the whole face, not just the nasal tip or the nose. So they all very often do have malocclusion. You typically a lot of times have issues with their competence of their oral the lips. You have to worry about whether or not they're having from the septal deviation that they usually have, or they have an airway obstruction. Does that need to be addressed? And sometimes they require like a Lafort to help bring the midface forward, and you have to have their cheekbones augmented. So you really want to think about the entire face when you're doing that final, hopefully final reconstruction. It's really the one chance you have to really do, and you got to think big. And the last little thing that I've come across, only one case in my my career so far is a case of a rhinitis, basically the person was born without a nose. And if you look at it, it really isn't very much in the way of any structure of the sinuses and the nose there, but they do end up, this one they did end up aerating that area. But then when we reconstructed her, we drilled out the nasal cavity. The plastic surgeons created a new nose for her, actually pretty nice. She wouldn't let me take a picture of her, so I don't have a current picture of her. The one interesting issue is that she has wide open cavities that we created, but she says she can't breathe through her nose. And it's because she doesn't feel the air going through there. So even though it's perfectly wide open, and she is breathing through it as you're talking to her, she says she can't breathe through it. So it's a very interesting situation that occurs when we do these things to the individual. So they may functionally be fine, but they don't feel fine.